Okay. So let's get back to this. So I'm trying to divide 120 by 8. So you learned how to divide last year, but you may need a little refresher. So I'll show you long division, but then I'll do another video with just other ways for division. We did partial products last year, and we did the area model. So I'll make some videos about that. I made myself a note. Okay, so here's how I was taught, and your parents were probably taught to do division. So you ask yourself, does 8 go into 1? No, so you put a 0. 0 times 8 is 0. Bring this down. Your next answer needs to go right here above the 2, so bring him down. So now you ask yourself, does 8 go into 12? The answer is yes. How many times will 8 go into 12? Just once. So 1 times 8 is 8. Subtract. 12 minus 8 is 4. My next answer goes here, so bring down this 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times. So my answer is 15. You don't need the 0 in the front. So the cost per class is $15 for every one class. So just like our prediction up here, we knew that that price was going to be somewhere in between 18 and 14. If you look at these numbers, it kind of explains why it wasn't right in the middle at 16. So it was 5, 8, and 10. Okay, we're not going to do this last part. Let's look at the next part. So we're going to be graphing. Dun, dun, dun. I love graphing if they give you a graph to work with. So I'll show you how to do this another way as well, since I know you don't have this book right in front of you. Okay, so it says, Tova earns money pet sitting for friends and neighbors. She earns the same amount per hour. That's important. So no matter how many hours she works, she earns the same amount each hour. So first we're going to complete the table. So it says if she pet sits for 2 hours, she gets $40. I always like to add 1. Okay. If we know she works 2 hours and gets $40, then you should be able to tell me how much she would get paid for just 1 hour. Do you know? It would be 20. All right, the next number is 4. So if this is multiplied by 2, then we can just multiply this by 2. 40 times 2 is 80. All right, and if we're going by 2's here, this is probably 6. So look at this. 2 times 3 makes 6. 40 times 3 makes 120. So she earns $20 per hour. We can do it on our fingers. So she works 4 hours, 20, 40, 60, 80. If she works 6 hours, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. Okay, use your fingers. They're helpful. All right, part B says graph the data from the table. Dun, dun, dun. So this is why earlier I said this is X and this is Y. I'm going to show you a tool where you can make graphs online. It's amazing. If not, you could try to draw this, but if you don't make it pretty accurately, it won't be the best graph. And that's why graphing isn't always my favorite if you don't already have one made. All right, so when we look at let me get a piece of paper. When we look at a table, okay, just covering up extra information. These are an ordered pair. This is X and this is Y. So I'm gonna graph the ordered pair 2, 40. That's my first one. So 2 is the x-axis. See right here, this is the x-axis. And 40 is on the y-axis, going this way. So you always start at 0. You always go left or right first. In this case, we're going right. We'll learn about left later. So I'm going to go over to 2, and then I'm going to go up to 40, and that's where I make my point. These two numbers together make 1 point. I shouldn't see more than 1 point for an ordered pair, okay? It's coordinates like this. You did that a long time ago, even in elementary school, but it usually talks about like a street or where your house is on a coordinate plane. All right, our next ordered pair is 480. All right, so again, I start here, go over to 4, and then I go up to 80, and that's where I make my point. Notice when I make a point, it's at the intersection of lines. We don't want to make points here or here in the middle or anything like that. Those are not accurate points. All right, our next point is 6, 120. The nice thing about math books is they give you the right size graph. So go over to 6 and then go up to 120. All right. What do you notice about the points on the graph? Think about that for a second. Okay, I want you to notice maybe two things. Okay, the first thing is I could probably connect these and they would form a nice straight line. I'm not the best at making straight lines. Ooh, that was pretty good. Okay, so you should have seen that. And then also, if you look, I'm gonna make one more point. If you look between the points, I'm gonna make a point here at 0, 0, because that point does exist, because if she doesn't pet sit for any hours, she doesn't make any money, right? If you don't do your job, you don't get paid. So that's a point, 0, 0. If you look from here to here to here, these distances between the points are all the same. Okay, I could add that other point I made earlier, 120. So for 1 hour, she gets paid 20. And look at that. The distance here is nice and even. All right. Oh, use the graph to predict the unit rate or how much Tova earns per hour. Well, darn, I already gave you that answer at the very beginning. But do you remember what unit rate means? Unit means 1. So the unit rate is $20 for every 1 hour. If you hadn't figured that out up here like I did, you could see it on the graph. If you just kind of connected these points or even just use your finger to draw up, you would see that it would be 1 here and you just have to read it over to 20. Notice when we write our unit rate, it's the y value over the x value. Okay, it just makes more sense for us to do that, and I'll explain more of that why, but $20 per hour, that's how we usually say it. We don't usually say 1 hour for every $20. That's not the way we express unit rates. All right, let's do a couple more. So it says a snack shack sells trail mix packs and bottles of water during a football game. The items are not sold individually. Instead, the snack shack only sells a snack special that contains 2 packs of trail mix and 3 bottles of water. So it's like a value meal. Complete the table using equivalent ratios. Okay, so here's another time where if you want, you could rewrite it. So this is trail mix, this is water. 2 for 3, 4, I don't know. 18, I don't know. Did I put that in the right spot? Yep. And then 20, I don't know. All right, so we need to figure out how this ratio is working. I'm also gonna write it like this. 2 for every 3, and then I know the next one is 4, and I'm missing something. Oop, you can't see that. So here, what's the relationship? How do I get from 2 to 4? I just double it, times 2. So 3 times 2 would be 6, okay? I like to always start over with the first ratio. So again, 2 for every 3. This one, I don't know how many trail mix, but I do know how much water. So what's the relationship to get from 3 to 18? It's always times, right? Times 6. So 2 times 6 is 12. All right, and the last one, I don't know here, but how do I get from 2 to 20? Ooh, that one's times 10. And then 3 times 10 is 30. You don't always have to start with the first ratio, but since that's the one they gave me all filled in, I did, just in case one of these happened to be wrong. All right, but what if we did this? Well, actually, this one would work. 4 times 3 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. And then we could do 4 times 5 is 20. 6 times 5 is 30. So there's other ways you can make sure. Okay, I kind of wrote on this question. It says, a train travels at a constant speed for 120 miles. If it takes the train 7 hours to travel that distance, what is the unit rate at which the train travels? All right, so let's think about how we're going to set this up. We have miles and we have hours. So do we want to say hours per mile or miles per hour? Which one is how we write that unit rate? This one, miles per hour. Okay, miles per hour. So we have 420 miles for 7 hours. I'm gonna write M-I-H-R, and it wants to know the unit rate. So that means it wants to know how fast does it travel in 1 hour. Okay, I know this is a big number, but let's just pretend I cover up that 0. Now you just have 42 and 7. Remember, to get here, we divide by 7. Whatever this is, we divide by it so we can get 1. So we do the same thing up here. Okay, so if 420 divided by 7 stresses you out, ask yourself, take that 0 away, what's 42 divided by 7? Oh, 42 divided by 7 is just 6, and then I can just put on the 0. So the answer would be 60 miles per hour.